All right, friends, welcome back. I am making a couple different orders today, but I wanted to go over a few little tips and tidbits that I've learned as well. So, I have my cakesicle mold, all right? You don't have to make it perfect when you actually put it in the mold. And when it comes out and it's uneven, I used to use a knife and then it would actually end up cracking it. And then I would have a big mess to fix. So I saw using a peeler, and you just go through, and I tried to keep all, wow, that was super smooth. Look how easy that was. I tried to keep all the chocolate on the same tray so that if I need to reuse the chocolate for a quick fix, then I have the same chocolate I needed. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect on the back, more so on the sides and the front, because that's probably where the decorations are going to be most. But again, give it a nice, smooth fixing. Yeah, that's a lot easier than what I was doing before. You can go. Recommend going slow. You have more control. But then it also kind of breaks off right there too. So look how easy that is. Perfect, right? Or I should do the behind. And then that's the back. So again, yeah, a little uneven. Okay, I can fix that. Chocolate, it's all good. There's extra chocolate. I'm sure no one will mind eating it. Perfect. So I'm going to do a couple on those. I also wanted to share, okay, so say you have your mold. Yes, we fixed the ends, but look, so the chocolate was too thin on the edges. Okay, so again, I took, I didn't even have orange melting chocolate, so I took white chocolates, okay, and I went and I used food coloring. Now this one, again, they didn't even have orange, but they had a sunset yellow. Give it a good mix, and it comes out like a Halloween orange, like a pumpkin orange. So before I fix the edges, I'm just going to give a nice thin coat around. I have my palette knife, trying to fix up what I can. And unless you're going to very, very prestigious event with these, they don't always have to be perfect. Don't kill yourself to make it perfect. And then if you have to figure out a whole nother design, so be it. So these are hearts, and I saw on Pinterest a really cute carrot theme that I'm going to try with this mold. So stay tuned, because I'm making some Easter treats. All right. So again, see that? Starting to cover it up. Can't really see much. And it's hard because when you're doing these molds, you have to do a thin layer and then put it in the fridge, and then another thin layer, put it in the fridge. And when you tap on the bottom to get the air bubbles out, it thins up the sides. So kind of a never-ending battle. So even though people are like, oh, why are you sharing all your secrets? Because it's tedious work. Yes, anyone can do this, but not everyone wants to do this. All right, so that one's good. I'm going to put that back in the fridge, let that set for a little bit. And then I'm going to pull out my second one. All right, so again, I knew what happened. And I've also learned from previous trial and error that I wasn't putting enough cake in and just doing too much chocolate. So this time, I did put a decent amount of cake inside the cake pop, because I didn't want it to all just be chocolate. So we'll work with it. We'll see what we can do. It's a heart mold, but it's got like diamond edges. We'll see. But yeah, I have a lot of fun. This is vanilla flavored frosting. Chocolate. I have used lemon flavor before for yellow. So just read your labels when you're buying chocolate. Some are flavored, some are just colored. So, all right. An even spot that doesn't need to be fixed, you can also just touch it up because it's going to have to go with the rest of the flow here. All right, again, excess chocolate goes back. And for example, I started this mold, okay? So you can see it's a very, very thin shell. And you could even test your mold by stretching the silicone and seeing how much it breaks off. Don't push from the bottom. So this is really thin on the edges. So I can go back and fix the problem that I'm trying to fix after the fact right now. So I'm going to go back in there, make those edges a little thicker. It's like painting. It's awesome. I have a lot of fun with this. I'm an artist by nature. So anytime I find a new medium, I get excited. But I've always loved sweets. Who doesn't love sweets? All right. And I'm just going to put that back in the fridge just how it is. And we'll work on the next parts. All right, so while that's doing that, I collected all my little shavings, put them in there, and I'll mix that up. You know, product is hard to come by, and especially when you're making chocolates, you're actually going to throw away a lot, which you shouldn't, you know, learn from it. There's a lot of excess, but then just collect it off the sides, you know, put it in there. It's still fresh, it's still there, it's just not warm anymore. So save as much as you can for touch-ups. People don't want to count for the touch-ups, okay? So, speaking of touch-ups, I have a few pieces where the chocolate came off, okay? So, I'll start with an easy one. There also gets air bubbles in between here. So what I do is I take a knife, a clean, sharp knife, and I put hot water in this cup and I let it sit. If you heat up your knife with fire or a flame or your stove, you're going to have that black residue on it, so don't do that. So, get my knife, okay, I get it clean, I make sure it's completely dry, okay, it's still warm, and then I just go in and I kind of just melt the chocolate around it. All right, that wasn't as... And again, it's just kind of filling in what I need. So it's nice and smooth. Doesn't need to be perfect. And you just kind of cover up little edges. And this is a good trick when you run out of extra chocolate. So you just kind of mold it back on there. You can even use your finger at the end, kind of smooth it out, and it's good to go. Alright, so I just pulled our other ones back out. Again, catch all the excess. And use. This is cool because you can go back and forth. And then I get in between like the heart part with a sharp knife so that you can get that hard edge, because if you try to just break it off, the whole thing will snap. So again, clean up your edges. Make it look nice. I'm really excited to see what my progress would look like once I have a big enough studio and I can move all over, kind of in a tight space. But again, everything great kind of starts from your own kitchen, so I'm very grateful and thankful. I even have the ability to think about starting my own business. My family is extremely supportive, so a lot of fun. All right. You know what? And I might even rough up the edges more to make it look like a real carrot. Who knows? Who knows? Have fun with it. But we'll go through. I'll use a regular knife this time. I like watching those chocolatier shows. Those are really fun. One famous guy from, he was a French pastry chef. Does amazing work with chocolate. Just forget his name at the moment. Alright, so my chocolate's hardening up a bit, so it's going to get harder to mold with. It's still like putty. Sometimes you can do a quick fix with your finger and get it in there. I need that sharp edge, so I use my knife to mold it like clay. That should be alright. If you want your chocolate to stay thin for a while, I know you can use butter. I like to use coconut oil if my client doesn't have any allergies to it, because coconut oil, it gives a really, really soft, thin texture. I go big because I make a lot of things with coconut oil. And you just use just a little scoop of your fingers, mix it in there, and it gives this really nice, thin, shiny coat. And it tastes good, and it's healthier than butter. So, okay, so I did the edge test on here, and it looks pretty sturdy. So now I'm going to go in, and I baked a cake yesterday, and then so I did the cream cheese icing in it. Got a nice, smooth cookie dough. I'm going to gently put it in there. Again, you want to get a nice even coat. I'll show you. And you want to get it away from the edges because you want the chocolate to fasten to each other so that you get a nice even. Alright, so I'm going to warm up my chocolate. Alright, so again, you don't want to keep heating up your chocolate over and over and over. You want to have your area set up to where you can get a lot of things done at once, because chocolate, like paint, will dry up and it'll be hard to use. Okay. And it won't be as easy to work with. And if you heat it up too much, especially if you do it in the microwave, you're going to burn your chocolate. All right, the chocolate starts to cook, gets like a hard crust on it, and then you can smell the burn, and obviously you can taste the burn after that. But can you feel the burn? Sorry. Trying to be funny. Trying to get a nice even coat. It looks like there's a piece of cake that I didn't push all the way down. But again, you don't have to be perfect, just have to be covered. So I can even do a little swirly, make sure it's all covered completely. And back in the fridge it goes. Okay, so now I am going to make a little carrot out of this. But because the sides are textured, I'm just going to go ahead and texture the top with some extra chocolate. That's simple, right? Doesn't have to be smooth. Again, you just want to make sure everything looks cohesive. All right. These are cute. I'm trying to get some really cool different ideas. I have a few Easter baskets that I have to do for some coworkers. So I'm trying to think of some cool creative things that kids would like too. All right. And then, so I made these little chocolate green stems. And it's just going to be real simple, right? Put a dollop of chocolate right at the edge. And I'm going to place it right there. Look like a carrot. All right. Another one. Now you don't want your hands to get too warm, because then it's just going to mess with. How cute is that? I love it. All right, so they are out of the freezer and stuck together. And that's my show today, little carrots. I'm going to do another one soon of teacher appreciation stuff. So check out for my next video. Bye guys, thank you.